I saw Bruce Jenner. I think he had plastic surgery on his face, and I just thought, wow, he's not aging well. He looks like an ugly old woman. That's the first thing that came to mind. Well, now I know why. But I at first I didn't even think it was him. Still not 100% sure. But okay, they're telling me it is. Fine. But look, how long does it take to heal for all this stuff? Because, if you're looking at, I realize there's makeup and all that kind of stuff that can be done, but the facial structure and skin tone is not the same as it was when he was Bruce. And it's only been two months or so, right? Look, they had the photo shoot didn't happen yesterday. That stuff has to take place, at least a few weeks in advance so they can set it up and make sure everything is good and it can go to the, be outlined and put in place and then go to the printer. It's not something that you do over, it's not like a newspaper. Vanity Fair is a glossy, glitzy magazine. It takes planning. So this whole notion that he's just being so... Look, there is a guy... a guy by the name of Dr. Paul R. McHugh from Johns Hopkins University, Johns Hopkins Medicine. And now I guess this is something that's resurfacing. He actually did a study. Dr. Paul, and this is a CNSnews.com story. With, by the way, nearly 50,000 shares. Dr. Paul R. McHugh, the former psychiatrist in chief for Johns Hopkins Hospital and its current distinguished service professor of psychiatry, said that transgenderism is a mental disorder that merits treatment, that sex change is biologically impossible, and that people who promote sexual reassignment surgery are collaborating with and promoting a mental disorder. Now, Dr. McHugh is the author of 6 books and at least 125 peer-reviewed medical articles. He made his remarks in a recent commentary in the Wall Street Journal where he explained that transgender surgery is not the solution for people who suffer a disorder of assumption, the notion that their maleness or femaleness is different than what nature assigned to them biologically. But for the most part, I'm going to fall in line with Dr. Paul McHugh. Yes, there are people who do have certain disorders that were, they're born with both genes. That's a different story. Because when it comes right down to it, it comes down to what's in your head. And this is going to lead to all kinds of things, folks. I'm telling you right now, don't doubt me. They're going to try to open the door for all kinds of things that you and I just don't like. Even, for the most part, the mainstream in the left, those who are not in the radical movement, they're not going to really like this stuff or what's coming down the pike. They're not going to like it. They're going to resist it, and they're going to be on the receiving end of all this. Well, you're just a hater. You're a hater. Excuse me. By the way, now I saw a picture of speaking. Because I'm not done with this Jessica Lange story yet, but it just came to mind that there is a picture online. And I can't remember where it was I saw it, but it's a picture of ISIL, doesn't matter who. And there's a bunch of Islamists, a huge crowd. And when I say huge, I mean it's probably, it's definitely more than 100. It could be a few hundred in the crowd. And they are dangling a gay man by his feet off of a high-rise building in the Middle East. And then what happens later, well, not too much later, is that they end up throwing this homosexual man off the roof of this building to the whoops and hollers and chants and cheers from the crowd below. This is not the first time they've done this. And yet, as I look across a lot of social media, I see gays, the LGBT community, pounding and hating on Christianity. And to a certain degree, Judaism. But really pounding on Christians. Now, Christians do not advocate and do not hang gays from buildings and then throw them off the roof. But we're supposed to, these is this some sort of new or twisted Stockholm syndrome type of thing, where those who are being oppressed really want to promote and engender and endear themselves to their oppressor? But in this case, it's not it's not like slavery, where blacks sort of endeared themselves to their slave masters. No. This is different because, Islamists, they don't want to keep infidels and gays as slaves. They want your head. They want you dead. So there's something different going on here. I cannot understand how they can be so supportive of a religion that basically says in its religious text that you must die. If you're a homosexual, you need to explain to me why you are so in favor of Islam, especially in the United States of America, when their religious text says, point blank, you must die. You cannot live. Your life is an affront to them. Plain and simple. I'm just really getting really tired. It's more than just frustration. I'm getting really tired. And I pretty much lose it pretty easily now in liberals when they start bringing out all this BS about haterism and hate this and hate that and people hate these people. Let me tell you something. You guys, either you fully support what Islam is doing, and if you do, you're an idiot, or you have no clue what Islam is about. And I think it's a little bit of both. And it's not naivete, it's just stupidity. Because you have been told what these people are about. What they want to do to each and every American. Each and every West. What is the, there's about 1.5 or so billion to 2 billion Muslims across the world. You know what? They really want to have a caliphate that simply wipes out every single non-believer on the planet. They want an Islamic world. Plain and simple. There is no room for you. Especially if you're, if you are one of those who deviates. There is the last episode of Game of Thrones actually touched on this. And I know some people are saying, with the birds, they're this faith in the capital city, King's Landing. And that now that the Queen Mother has relaunched this church and this faith policing group, if you will, it really become more powerful than the king. And they're deciding that certain things, in their text are just not allowed. Now, I know some people are thinking, well, that's just Christianity, but no. And it's going to be Christianity of the, the Inquisition era. But I'm telling you, no. It's not of Christianity. It's not of the Inquisition era. This is a direct view of Islam. The only thing they're not doing yet is just beheading people. But look, when you throw the Queen and the Queen Mother in jail for religious law violations, and the king can't do anything without going to war, that's not about Christianity. Because let me tell you, kings in the Christian day, Catholic Church and in the Inquisition, oh yeah, kings broke away from the church all the time. But here we have this sort of revealing information about, it doesn't matter who you are. This priest is going to go after you. So it doesn't matter who you are, who you think you are, on the left. You're going to be the first people that Islamists go after. And we can see what they're doing over there in the Middle East. They're throwing people that you revere off the roof of tall buildings. What do you think they would do to Bruce Jenner if they got a hold of him? Think they'd say that he's brave and courageous and for taking a picture of himself, as a transgender? No, it would be evidence of his folly, of his sinfulness, of his debauchery, and he must be eliminated. Now, I do not believe such a thing. I believe the man needs mental help. I believe he does. I don't know what has gone on personally in his life. Not even going to pretend I know. But, hey, married to the Kardashians, you can kind of get a sense of what's going on there. But, the guy needs help. But understand that if this were to come about and we were to get Sharia, any part of this country was to get Sharia laws, hey, let's face it, at least, even though he might, in this country, they might not be able to commit Bruce and other people in a death sentence, but guaranteed they'd lock you up. No different from the Nazis. The pink triangle. You had the yellow Star of David and you had the pink triangle. And people forget that the Nazis also locked up homosexuals. The Nazis were not Christians, by the way. They were not. They, just like communism, and again, communism doesn't like homosexuality. Look at Russia and China. Not religious at all. But yet, you people out there, you seem to think that it's Christians and people of Judeo-Christian ethics are the ones who are responsible. Look, they're not killing people. Not like this. They're not beheading people based on their faith, and they're not throwing people off the buildings because of who they want to love and share a bed with. But yet you leftists out there, you want to support these kinds of people. And these people actually hate you. They can't stand the sight of you and being in the same room with you. Or they can't even stand being on the same planet with you, which is why they have to cleanse you from this planet. And they're not into science, so they're not going to try to find a way to build a rocket ship and allow you to live on the moon or Mars or some other planet. Nope, they're just going to wipe you out. You better understand it. You better come around. You better stop fighting the people and calling the people who actually do care about you the haters. You better stop it. Because if you get rid of the Christians and the people that actually would care about you, you're going to be alone against them. And let me tell you, you cannot win against them. not by yourself.